Boss GT-1000 core takes the full processing power of the flagship unit and shrinks it down to a really compact form factor. The small size and flexible routing and control means that it can play a variety of different roles in your rig, whether you're using it with an amp, on a direct-to-PA pedal board, as part of your bass rig, or anything in between. The aim of this live set is to help you set up your GT-1000 core for a variety of different uses. The focus isn't so much on specific tones, but rather to give you a head start in patch creation, with some examples of signal chain, routing and control for your chosen application. There's a total of 10 patches in this live set, including some 4-cable method, acoustic and electric looping patches, pedal platform, bass rig, and a few more fun ones. Check the link in the description to download them now. If you've got a high gain amp, you'll usually put drive effects in front of the amp and time-based effects like delays in the effects loop. Using 4-cable method uses the effects loop of the GT-1000 core to essentially turn the preamp section of your amp into an effects block. This lets you freely position the amps before or after the preamp. This patch should allow you to hit the ground running with minimal programming. Connect your guitar cable to the input of your unit or the input of the first pedal in your signal chain. Connect send 1 to your amp's input. Connect your amp's effects loop send to return 1. Connect the main output to your amp's effects loop return. In manual mode, the foot switches will give you access to solo boost, master delay, and drive. One little bonus feature that I've included, using some clever routing within the unit, is a cab simulated out that you can use to get a clean feed for the PA. Press Menu, Hardware Setting, then Other. Use knob 4 to change the Send To setting to Sub Out Aux Mute. Now, your Send To jack will function as an additional output with cab simulation, and you can use the onboard cabs or load up your own impulse responses. You can change the cab settings in the Sub Out block. If you've got your amp hooked up in 4-cable method, you can take full advantage of the built-in preamps on the GT-1000 core to give you a variety of additional amp sounds. This patch takes the preamp modeling of the unit and sends it straight to the power section of your amp. In the playing example, I'm using the Plexi-style preamp in the GT-1000 core straight into the power amp of my EVH 5150. But you can also use this method to create an additional clean channel if your amp doesn't have one. This is a fun one for home practice or songwriting to help you flesh out your electric guitar riffs and bass grooves. The control switch is assigned to be a 1-button looper just like the Boss RC1. Single press for record, play and overdub, double press for stop and hold to clear. In manual mode, the patch up button creates a bass sound using the overtone effect routed into one of the GT-1000 core's bass amp models. And the patch down button kicks in fuzz and a bit of delay for a big lead sound. Lots of fun. If you also do acoustic gigs, the GT-1000 core can work perfectly as a grab-and-go unit. In this patch, the control switch is again assigned to be a 1-button looper, like in the previous patch. The patch down button controls the octave effect, which uses the range control, like the OC5 compact pedal, to emulate a bass line. This is routed into a bass amp model for maximum thump. The patch up button is a solo boost, giving you a bump in level, as well as some delay so you can play lead lines over your loop. Now This patch is for players who use their pedal boards into a clean pedal platform amp. It uses advanced routing to send an effects-only signal to your amp for on-stage sound, while also giving you an amp and cab simulated output to run to the PA or mixing desk. Connect Send2 to your amp's input and connect the main output to the PA. This gives you the added advantage of being able to use the headphones output of the unit to practice with your pedal board without the amp. You should tweak the amp 1 block to get as close a sound as possible to your physical amp. The control switch is assigned to the first effects loop, send 1 and return 1, so that you can automate switching of specific pedals in that loop. The remaining 2 switches in manual mode give you control over the master delay and FX1 blocks. And if you don't need the amp simulated output and would rather be able to control switching 2 different sets of pedals using both the effects loops, then try this patch. The patch up and down switches are assigned to loop 1 and loop 2 respectively, while the control switch controls master delay. This patch is perfect for bass players. Like the pedal platform patch, it uses advanced routing to send an effects-only signal to your amp for on-stage sound, while also giving you an amp and cab simulated output to run to the PA or mixing desk. Connect Send2 to your amp's input and connect the main output to the PA. The control foot switch is assigned to the compressor block, and manual mode gives you additional access to chorus and touch wire effects. Sorry for the terrible playing, I'm not a bass player, but you get the idea. As we saw in the acoustic Giga patch, the GT-1000 core is pretty capable as a compact effects unit for the acoustic soloist. But what if you're joined by a bass player for a particular gig? Instead of bringing an additional rig, you can plug your bass player in through the return 1 jack, and this patch will allow you to play acoustic guitar and electric bass at the same time. I've kept the 1-button looper on the control switch, and in manual mode you each get 1 button, solo boost for the acoustic, and also a bass chorus block. This patch is the same as the previous one, but it's for electric guitar instead of acoustic. Instead of the solo boost, you can now kick in a drive pedal. This patch is for people running whammy pedals, drop tune pedals, and so on. Maybe you're looking to save some space on your board and integrate them all into one. Obviously, you need an expression pedal to connect to your GT-1000 core. It has 2 inputs for expression pedals, but use the first one for this patch. The first effect has to be a whammy, right? Hit the control switch and Tom Morello your heart out. In manual mode, the patch down button then changes the whammy effect into a dive bomb effect. If you have a guitar with a hardtail bridge, but you occasionally need some big 80s style dive bombs, this can get you most of the way there without having to buy or bring another guitar. Last but not least, we've got a drop tuning effect on the patch up button. With the expression pedal toe down, when you turn the effect on, you hear that it instantly gives you a half step down. Bring it back about halfway and you'll get a full step down. Going fully heel down gives you an additional half step on top of that. So in an emergency, you could go from drop D all the way to drop B without needing another guitar. So those were my 10 utility patches with the GT-1000 core. I hope you find them helpful with your unit. And once again, the download link is in the video description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.